Hello, my name is Matthew Christenson, one of the Vice Presidents and Account Executives here at Spectrum Aeromed. I've been with Spectrum Aeromed for over 20 years. I started my career in 2001 as one of the office managers. In 2004, took on the role of production manager. In 2008, promoted to the role of project manager. In 2011, became one of the sales executives for the company. I have enjoyed working with the Spectrum Aeromed team and providing our great customers with life-saving equipment. We're going to take a look at one of our advanced life support systems in this PC-12 aircraft. We have many different module systems to best fit your need for your medical transports. This system is a 2800 system. It attaches to the aircraft floor with a floor adapter. The floor adapter attaches to the existing track that's in the floor, locks with a spring-loaded locking mechanism onto the base system. On top of that, you're seeing a patient stretcher. Inside the base module, you'll find a 3,500 liter bottle. You find an inverter taking your 28 volt aircraft power, converting it to the 115 volt power in this case for this system. We have other options of converting it to 230 power as well, so we can cover any items that are needed for worldwide patient transport. Also inside the base module is your air pumps, your vacuum pump, to give you all of the pneumatics that you need for your medical devices and your needs for your patient. As you look at the patient stretcher in here, you're going to see that it attaches at the end here with an end plate. You release that end plate to allow the stretcher to slide out on your loading device, and you'll have either a manual loading device or an electric loading device to bring your patient in and out of the aircraft. Some of the other accessories that you see in this frame are going to be your stretcher bridge. The stretcher bridge attaches to the patient stretcher with those three legs. It allows you to put medical devices on top of that and transport them during flight. The stretcher bridge can hold up to 42 pounds of equipment, so you can safely get your Zoll defibrillator, your ventilators, and your IV pumps onto that stretcher bridge for transport. If you look up on the sidewall of this aircraft in this PC-12, it has a dedicated sidewall. One of the options that gives you is a place to put additional medical devices or take your devices off of your stretcher bridge, put them onto the side wall during transport. So in this case, we have the Zoll monitor mount taken off of the stretcher bridge, put onto the dedicated side rail for the transfer of the flight. Once you get to your destination, you release that mount, put it back onto the stretcher bridge, and it can transport with the patient to the ground ambulance and to the hospital. I'm going to go inside the aircraft now, and we're going to look at some of those other features a little bit closer and see them in a better detail. Two items that we will see from this view on the advanced life support systems. One is the refill line for the oxygen bottle. This flex line, the fitting on the end is a CGA 540 that you will attach to from your refill system to recharge your oxygen bottle. The second item is this release lever. Pressing down will release the spring-loaded mechanism to remove the system from the floor adapter. You release it down, pull it aft, and after it goes aft about 2 inches, it'll be release of the adapter. You can release it and pick up and move the system out of the aircraft. For the 3,500 liter tank that is in this system, we have the high pressure gauge down at this end showing the complete volume that is left in that tank. Here's the full control panel. It'll have all your on and off switches for your main power, your air, your vacuum pumps, inverter. There's a panel light. All of those features are on these switches here, along with their circuit breakers underneath. The next item along here is the manual or electric patient loading locking plate. Now you have a few options depending on the aircraft and the interior setup. You lock into the back corner. In this application, to center it up on the door, we add a locking mechanism here for the manual and the electric loader. As we move forward on the system, you have your 115 or your 230 volt outlet options. You have a 28 volt plug, which we use for the electric loading system. And then all the way forward on the system, you have your oxygen, air, and your vacuum pneumatic connections here on the front. Now on this system, for the oxygen pneumatic, we also have a low pressure gauge here as well. This is the process for releasing the patient stretcher from the 2800 system. You have an actuator button here that when you press that, it moves these scissor locks at the end. So once that's depressed, the plate will release and will slide down out of the way. At that point, your stretcher can be slid back and then rotate out of the aircraft onto your loading device. When you're loading it in, reverse that process, lining your 2 pins up through the holes, and that will spring load lock into place. The patient stretchers that we have for our fixed wing aircraft have the same features on them. So your backrest has handle actuators on each side to trigger the assembly to raise and lower. It'll go up to we'll call it an 80% incline up here with these. It has a stopping place where it stops automatically. Release pressure on will bring it back down. With the dual actuators that it has on the patient stretcher, it has enough pressure where you cannot, with the patient and even leaning on it, it will not collapse down. So it's a really nice mechanism there. Supports your patient. You can be working on them without it descending down at all. The stretcher itself has the 5-point harness with the turn buckle here to lock those in. It has adjustable shoulder straps in and out. There's a pin on the back that you release to move in the stretcher for your patients that are 75 pounds or less. So for those younger adolescents where you need that stretcher belt in over their collarbone better to secure them in a flight, it has that feature of adjusting, that simple adjustment that can be made at any time. Your stretcher will also have 2 armrests on each side, so during flight they can come out, add that patient support for them during flight, make it more comfortable for them. They easily go back in for the loading and unloading process of your stretcher. In a dedicated aircraft like this, when we reposition the sidewall of the aircraft, we get in the features of the track here for your medical devices. Allows them to slide forward and aft. You can put up to 2 or 3 along this bracketing for your defibrillator, your ventilators, your IV pumps. Some of the other features that you're going to see, we're adding in electrical outlets for the operating and charging of these devices. We have a vacuum with a regulator here. We have an air and an oxygen port here. Here we have a sharps container holder, and then we have a suction canister holder here as well. Rounds up all the details that you need of turning this modular setup into a dedicated aircraft interior for your patient needs. So as I pointed out earlier, the backrest itself has 2 release levers, 1 on each side. They both do the same function. The mechanism triggers the 2 actuators here. So with the dual actuators, what we get is the ability to this stop at any degree and hold the backrest in that position. So it gives your medical team the ability to work on the patient without any collapsing, no matter what the angle is. So you have all the way down, all the way up is just shy of a 90-degree angle for that patient. Now, we have the 5-point harness on here, and one feature that we've added to this backrest are these quick release levers. And what this lever does is allow you to slide the shoulder belt in, and when you lock this back in, we have a placard that indicates that this is for any patient that is 70 pounds or less. And that allows you to bring that shoulder strap in closer in on their neck, over their shoulders, and the inner part of their shoulders to secure them during flight. So very easy application to adjust, going from that younger patient to your adults. One other feature that we have here is the IV pole. So it has an adjustment up and down. It also has on here 2 spots that it can go to on the front and 2 in the back that it will lock into. That lock-in position is so you can use it in flight. Once you're at your destination, the IV pole can go into the provision that's on the stretcher frame. It stays on there for transport in and out of the aircraft. Thank you for watching our demonstration of our module base and patient stretcher for our fixed wing applications. To learn more about our fixed wing equipment and other air ambulance accessories, please contact Spectrum Aeromed.